What's going on YouTube? I got my 2019 WRX STI here. I just want to talk about a topic that is in a lot of people's heads when they first buy an STI or any kind of real sports car is, should I buy this and daily drive it? I personally love daily driving this car. It is a 2.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. It's the EJ motor. If most of you guys are keeping track, you know that 2021 will be the last time that Subaru uses it. It is kind of a dinosaur, but we all love the Subaru rumble, which is what you get with its unequal length headers. So as far as daily driving, I mean, it's a little rough. Your suspension in these cars is purely track-based suspension. Unlike some of your Type R's and Veloster N's, you can't really adjust your suspension in this car. Now you can adjust your differential, but that's really only necessary on the track. So essentially you're stuck with the way this thing is tuned, the way it's already track-made suspension. What that means is for your daily drives, you're gonna feel every bump, you're gonna feel every bruise in the road. Your hydraulic steering, it's gonna be in tune with the road. Every single crack, you're gonna feel it. Now where that comes into play is on these long drives, maybe, I would consider a 2-hour enthusiast type ride is gonna feel a little bit rough after a while. You're gonna be begging for a little bit of more comfort. The way Subaru seats are kind of bolsters in the STI, you see right here, it's gonna hold you in, but there's not a lot of cushion. It's mainly meant just to keep you in the seat when you're doing some hard corners. Then, of course, here's your old dinosaur engine EJ. Like I said, they're gonna get rid of this motor, so that Subi sound's gonna be gone. But moral of the story with this old engine, it's kind of dated when it comes to fuel economy. In this car, even though it's just a 4-cylinder, with the fact that it's a 2.5 liter turbocharged, I'm only getting around 18 to 19 miles to the gallon. If you're babying it a little bit more and you're on maybe a highway, you can probably get 23 to 24. More than likely, anyone who buys this car is going to sit somewhere around 20 miles to the gallon. We'll just keep it at that. So I've spoken a lot about what I could consider negatives, but the big reason you buy a car like this one is you get the all-wheel drive capability. Now that's going to take you in almost any weather conditions, snow, heavy rain. You're going to drive confidently in the snow, in the bad weather. Now 12 inches of snow, you're going to be using that front end as a snow plow more or less, so I wouldn't recommend it. I've seen people do it, but 3 to 6 inches of snow, you're going to be pretty confident and you're not going to mess up your car. The STI does have that low suspension, so you just got to keep in mind the ground clearance. Going into the interior, the STI has plenty of space. I'm average height. My knees don't normally touch if I'm in the back seat, which is rarely, but plenty of back seat room. You're going to seat at least 5 people in this pretty confidently. That is awesome because a lot of sports cars that are 2-seaters, you just don't get that chance to kind of go on a trip with buddies or have extra passengers. So I've actually fit a couple of outdoor chairs and a huge outdoor rug in the back of this. It was tough, but it worked. So a lot of just everyday practicality when it comes to that. My trunk is pretty full right now, but as you can see, plenty of space for more. I've had this thing chock full of groceries and never had an issue with it. So it's overall, as far as storage and seating capacity, this car is one of the best for the money. Just some final thoughts before I end this video. Keep in mind with the STI 19-inch wheels, or maybe even 20-inch wheels if you go up in years, your tires are going to be extremely expensive, and God forbid that you have an issue with those wheels. The BBS STI wheels are very expensive. From the research I've done, just to replace a stock wheel would be around $450 per wheel. Also keep in mind your 6-piston Brembo brakes. You're going to have maintenance to do on those at some point in the car's life, and I imagine that will be also very expensive on the STI. Another thing is these headlights are LED halo headlights. I don't know exactly which ones. You can actually, when you turn them on at nighttime, you can see a little angel in the actual headlight area, which is a cool fun fact that I didn't know for like the first month of owning it. But to probably replace one of those, you're going to be looking at probably $1,500. So God forbid something happens to your headlights. And the last thing here, I did own a WRX. As a backstory, I owned a WRX before owning the STI. It was a 2019 WRX. It was the CVT. I know, make fun. That's why I got rid of it. It was a CVT. But the WRX is more comfortable. The suspension is better for every day. The seats are more forgiving for long trips. And the overall gas mileage is better in a WRX, especially with the new FA motor. I think that my record was 33 miles to the gallon going to West Virginia, probably an hour-and-a-half journey for me in the WRX. Something you could never do in an STI. But yeah, if you're the enthusiast and you want to go all out, if you have the extra money, go with the STI. You will not regret that. It will be a decision that you will be happy I told you to do, especially if you're really into this. I know a lot of people that have bought the WRX who have said, man, I wish I had the STI, or they traded their WRX within a couple of years for an STI, just like me. But not knocking on the WRX. If you don't want all the extra headaches, the more expense to ownership, then go with the WRX. It makes power around 2,000 to 3,500 RPMs, so you get that heavy boost. It puts you back in your seat early on. Whereas the STI, I mean, you're redlining it to get that true feel. You're gonna make peak horsepower, the best horsepower and torque in the STI around 6,000 RPMs. Now, that's the last thing I wanna say on the video, and I appreciate you guys for watching. Hopefully this helps you make a decision against or for an STI, and I wish you guys well. Thank you.